Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to take a look at dynamic flows in Flow Designer. What are they, when you can use them, and more importantly, we're going to dive into the ServiceNow platform and set some up. Okay, and we're back with another video. This time it's going to be dynamic flows in Flow Designer. But before we get too far in, I just want to say a massive thank you to anyone that's dropped by to watch this video or have subscribed. However, not all good news, people. The YouTube stats tell me that 90% of you that are watching this are not even yet subscribed. You know what to do. Let's dive in. Okay, so this vid's going to be slightly different, right? So I'm going to take you on the journey with me. So dynamic flows is something I've heard about before, but I've never actually used in a real-time scenario. However, a colleague that I'm working with right now in a project came to me the other day and said, hey, this is the solution I've came up with the story that we're working on, and it includes dynamic flows. And I was like, wow, that's genius.
Genius.
But yet, it seems so simple. So I thought, having not used it, let's use this video for me to, I guess, do the hard work for you, right? So let's take a look. So we're going to go to the ServiceNow docs, and then I'm going to take a look at, there's an example that I found on the ServiceNow docs that they want you to build. So I guess I'm going to do the hard work for you. So or you can join me and we'll do it together, but I'm going to try and be quick. So this is what it says. Dynamic flows, flow logic, catchy. Identify and run a flow or subflow dynamically by using runtime data. Okay. Build templates to provide expected inputs for dynamically called flows or subflows. So we build a template and we can call it using runtime data. Okay. I'm going to skip out some of the bits because it'll be quite boring, but you can go and I'll put a link in the description. You can go and see this stuff for yourself. Let me scroll down. To use dynamic flow, add dynamic flow. So that's flow logic. Okay. The template for dynamic flow can be a flow or subflow. Got that point. The template's input must match the inputs or any subflow that you call dynamic. There's a lot of flow words in this. After you build a template, consider copying it to create. Okay, so we're going to copy something. Let's just scroll down. Yeah, for design considerations. Okay. Use dynamic flows if you have multiple subflows with similar functionality. Ensure dynamically called subflows input match template. We've just mentioned that. Use the correct context when getting flow update. So context record uniquely identifies the flow run. Okay. So what I can tell, we're going to create a template. We're going to call it using flow logic. So we're going to call this template. And they've got similar functionality. And I'm bored of reading the docs. Go read it yourself. Right, let's crack on even. Okay, so let's just get started with the example. So we're going to go through this. It's called Get Started with Dynamic Flow and Get Flow Outputs. Okay, so that's another kind of activity. Dynamic Flow is one, Get Flow Outputs is another. So that's two that you have to use together, I'm guessing. And we're going to go through this. I put the link in the description. Follow along or watch or do it yourself. So let's just get cracking. Okay, so I've got my PDI. Let's flick that over to another screen so I can see what's going on. Okay, I will read this out. Navigate to all. Right, okay, we're going to create an app. Studio. So first of all, we're going to create an app. I'll edit this so it won't take as long when we're loading. And we'll create an application called Cloud Instance Provisioning, apparently. Okay, let's do that then. Let's get started. Cloud Instance Provisioning. What does it say? In the roles, enter Flow Designer or Admin. Let's just put Admin. Should we put it in Scoped? Oh, no, let's do Scoped. Okay. Roles, we'll just have Admin. Or I'll tell you what. Okay, sure. Let's do it verbatim. So Flow Designer. Okay, Flow Designer role. Continue. I might go too quick here. Classic. Continue. And we need to create new table. Okay, create new table. From scratch. Create table from scratch. So that's what we're doing. And we're going to create two new tables for your application. Add the following fields, right? Add field. Okay, so I think that's it, right? That's table one. Oh, did we name the table? Ah, no, right, okay. So this is table 1. We're calling it cloud instance. So this is about cloud provisioning then. Cloud instance. Does it say anything about extensible or access? We've got admin anyway. Let's go. Okay, take it a while. Edit. Right, okay, hang on. What's this? What's this? Continue. Okay, no, we'll create another table. So table number 2 is called... I'll just copy that for later. Remind me. Okay, we've got... And that's a URL. Okay, we're good to go. And that's the name. Cloud Instance Provisioning Request. So we've got 2 tables. The first one we created is called Cloud Instance. The other one is Cloud Instance Provisioning Request. So this is about Cloud Provisioning Request, I would have thought. So we're going to create possibly a flow and some subflows, which we're going to call dynamically. Possibly based on that choice list, maybe. Don't know. Are we done with tables? Let's have a look. Yes, done with tables. Again, I'm following the application build. So just to flick over, just tell you where we are. We're here. Create the Subflow template. Right, so let's go back. Restart. What does that mean? Create. Boom. Done with apps. Okay, so that's our app built. Right, next line. Under business logic, process automation, and integrations. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Should we do it? Should we type it? Business logic. I'm not going to. It wants me to go to Flow Designer. Let's go to Flow. Flow Designer. In the Flow Designer landing page, main header, click Subflow. Yeah, we've done that. Do we just want to create a new Subflow? Yeah, right, okay. So we're creating a new Subflow. Don't know why that was taking me there. On the Subflow properties screen, which is this, enter. The flow name, which we're using, is called that. It's inside our application, correct, yes. In the name field, oh, right, okay, it's called Subflow name, not name. And click submit. Doesn't want me to do anything else. No category, no roles. Okay, we're doing that. Clicking submit. Under the inputs and outputs. Yep, what are we doing here? Under inputs and outputs, select the plus icon to create 2 inputs for your... All right, okay, we're creating 2. We can do that. We can do that. Right, there's 2. We've got one called requested by. Requested by. Type is reference user table. Then we just did this on our table, didn't we? Okay, reference user table. And then we've got, what's this? Requested instance type. And that is a string. Okay, we're going to leave that like that. Select the plus to create one output for your subflow. Okay, so we'll do that. And then this is called instance URL. This is a URL. Is it URL? Oh, we have got a type of URL. Okay. Click done. Okay, so we've created a Subflow template, which takes in an input of requested by and requested instance type, which are 2 fields that we've just created on our tables, and an output is the instance URL. So I'm guessing the person is going to make a request. There's a requested instance type, so they want to request a type of instance, and it's going to return a certain URL. Oh, just stating the obvious. Right, okay. Select and add an action. Let's do that then. Add action logical subflow and then select action, right? From the list, oh, right, okay. So we're going to create a log. Select log. Oh, it's there. Right, okay. Oh, it's there. Create log. In the data panel, drag the data pills for the requested by. Here, look. And requested instance type, input you created earlier, and drag them both into the message field. Okay, 1, 2. Okay. No spaces or anything. In the Subflow header, select save and publish. Okay. We can do that. So our Subflow, I guess for the purpose of this example, the Subflow is really simple. It's a template that outputs a log to the log files. It could be anything. Could be a task. Could be anything. Okay, so let's have a look at that. So we've created our template. We are now on to step number 3. Here you go. So you can see, create a subflow for Jira Cloud Instance Provisioning Requests. Okay, let's go and do that. In the Subflow header, select the More Options icon and copy Subflow. Okay, we can do that. Then we'll give it this name. Okay, still inside the application, and click copy. Okay, that was easy. Under the log action. Oh, okay, under the log action, we're going to create, go away. Ah, right. We're going to create a record, is it? Create a record, okay. Scroll down slightly. Create a, well, it's not create a record. We'll create record, right? In the table name, select cloud instance. Okay, so we're going to create a record on the table that we just created. Interesting. And then do the following fields. So owner. We'll come back and populate these in a sec. Owner, instance type, instance URL. I might just add these in and then edit this out. You don't want to watch this. Understand? Okay, and then we need to make these Subflow inputs is requested by, so the owner is requested by. So let's use, I'm going to do this way this time. Instance type. Here's the instance type. It's funny how people do things differently. Instance URL. We're going to enter my company. This is from the instructions, by the way, my company. Then select the data pill picker, the Subflow requested by name. Okay, so that is going to be requested by name. Bit weird. Okay, let's go with it. Name. You're there. And then don't forget this is Jira, so it's going to be .atlassian.net. Okay, so that's the instance URL. Build status, we need to enter in progress. Okay. Under the create action, add another one. What's this? Okay, so underneath here, then we need to assign an output. And again, I'm just following the instructions. So assign Subflow outputs. And under name, we're going for instance URL and this data pill. For the data, select the pill. Number 2, create record, instance URL. Okay. Number 2, create record, instance URL. Click done, save, and publish. So what have we done there? We created a template before, Subflow template. We've copied that, and now we've kind of fleshed it out by doing a create record for the create cloud instance record, which is a table we've already created, and assigning a Subflow output. Okay, so what's the next thing we need to do? I'm just following these instructions. The next thing is we're going to do exactly the same as we've just done, create cloud instance record Jira. We're going to do it for Salesforce. So create cloud instance record Salesforce. So with the magic of editing, there we go. We've got Subflow for Salesforce. So in reality, the only thing I've actually done is copy that, and then I changed the instance URL to be salesforce.com. Again, it tells you all this in the instructions that I've been following. Okay, what's next? So now we've created a template Subflow. We've got 2 Subflows, one for Jira, one for Salesforce. We've also created 2 tables as well, don't forget. What else do we need to do? Create a sample flow. Okay, so we just need to create a flow. Don't overcomplicate it, ServiceNow. We need to create a flow. Let's go in, flow. This one is called Process Cloud Instance Provisioning Request. Okay, just click submit. Trigger. We don't want a tour. Don't show me again. Skip tour. Right, trigger. Created. Okay, and this is our table, our cloud instance provisioning request table. When that's created, done. Under actions, click the plus button and now this is where it's all starting to come together. Flow logic. This is it, people. Dynamic flow. This is what we've been waiting for. I hope you haven't turned up. Dynamic flow. Here we go. Dynamic flow. Now what do we do? In here, flow template. This is what we're selecting. So it says select the template that we've just created. Where is it? Oh, no, it's not on Google, is it? Not on Google, not on global. Right, okay. So cloud provisioning request. Template. Boom. Create cloud instance record. Okay, there we go. So it's got the inputs from that template that we've selected before. So the one that we created. It says flow. What do we put in here? Enter. Okay. This is a string field, right? What does that say? Oh, there's no hits. Right, all right, no hits. Okay, so we're going to enter create cloud instance record space hyphen, and then select the data pill picker. Okay, I can do that. And select the trigger record. Okay. What's that? Record created. Requested instance type. Requested instance. Is that? Type. Okay. Let's just go through the motions. So this is requested by. So this will be requested by. This will be requested instance type. That's the same as what we've just done. Requested instance type. Okay, so let's just digest this a bit. So we're using the template that we created in the flow template. We're calling the flow create cloud instance record, and then we're dynamically changing the last bit to be something that has been selected on that requested instance type. And I'm guessing that was our choice. No, that was our string, wasn't it? I'm guessing that's going to be either Jira or Salesforce. So the words Jira or Salesforce are going to be added in there. Right, let's continue. Okay. Under the dynamic flow logic, add the get flow outputs logic. Here's the other one, people, that you've been waiting for. Get flow outputs. Okay. Now in here for flow, okay, we've got flow template again. So we go back to our template that we've created. Context. Okay. Dynamic flow context. So we go dynamic flow context. Okay. So this is how you get the outputs of that dynamic flow. So usually the outputs would be something that you drive on the subflow and that you can just access them when you just, you can just call a subflow, right? Dynamic flow, we have to use get flow outputs. Okay, that must be the difference. Under the get flow outputs, create, what's this? Update record. There it is. Update record. And it's going to be the record that created. It's going to be this. And the fields are going to be approved instance and approved status. Okay. Approved instance. Get flow outputs. Okay, so we're now using get flow outputs. Instance URL. And then that's approved. Okay, so we're hard coding that. Okay. So let's just pause for a second and think about what we've actually done while you've been watching me struggling with my typing. We've created an application for cloud provisioning. We've created 2 tables, okay? We've created a bunch of fields on those 2 tables. We've created a template subflow. We've created 2 subflows off the back of that subflow. A lot of subflows there. One for Jira, one for Salesforce. Okay, both the same, but the only thing that's changing is that URL. We've now created a flow which calls an action or a flow logic called dynamic flow, which we can pass in values to call one of those subflows that we've created for Salesforce or Jira. When we've got those, we're going to update the originating request with an instance URL. Okay, let's not forget we use get flow outputs as well, so you may have seen that before. Okay, so let's give it a test, see how it works. We'll click test on the parent flow, that is. Don't forget, we've got Subflows, parent flow. What we want to do here is actually create a record. So I think the intention is when we create a request record, so Cloud Instance Provisioning Request, we put in who the requested by. It can only be one. The instance type. So we're going to decide what type of instance we want. What cloud instance do we want? A Jira one or a Salesforce one? Now, this is free text at the minute. You would obviously put that as a choice. You wouldn't rely on someone typing it in. But if we go for Jira, that word is going to be replaced in the subflow that it calls. Do you remember when I did the action? And then I'm guessing what's going to happen is when this tests, it's guessing. I don't need to guess. I went through it. It's going to give us the approved instance URL, and it's going to say approval status approved. Okay. But we're not really interested in that. So that's me submitting it. Let's pick that. We're not interested in that. We're interested in the fact that it's called the right flow. So let's go in there. Okay, so we've got the input is going to be the record that we just created. We know that. Dynamic flow. Okay. Jira. Okay, here we go. Look, this is what we wanted to see. So we gave it the flow template, and then we dynamically created that flow name. Do you remember that part? That word Jira was coming from what I just typed in rather than hard-coded. Here we go. Look, dynamic flow context record. Jira. Okay. Wonderful. And then we get the flow outputs. And here it is, Atlassian, right? So let's just go and quickly just test, just to make sure. We'll do Salesforce this time. This time, hopefully, yeah, you got to go for Abe Lincoln. Press to Salesforce. Okay, boom. Oh, which one was that? I don't know. The other one, 1412. It's got to be that one. Right, let's run it. Should have put a display name on there, really. I'm just following the instructions service now. Okay, so let's look at update record. Where's he gone? Salesforce. Here you go. Salesforce or Salesforce. Okay, let's see if we can find it better up here. Get flow outputs. Oh, did I not copy it properly? Okay. The point is, it's called the Salesforce one. Obviously, if we go back to here, let's just see. Create cloud instance. Did I not copy it right? Or is there too many characters? Let's have a look. Oh, salesforce.com. It's, I know what it was. When I created, that's bad. When I created that field, instance URL field on the table, it was only 40 characters long, so it's cut it off at 40. Create it 120. Does tell me to do 40. Well, doesn't even tell me what to do in the instructions. So perhaps I should have just used my brain. Okay, so that's interesting. But it does beg the question for me, is if I didn't know about this, what would I have done? I think the answer would be, for me anyway, is in Flow Designer, you've got the flow logic if, haven't you? So let's just have a quick look. We've got flow logic if. So what you could say is if request type is Jira, trigger this subflow. If request type is Salesforce, trigger this subflow. So you could achieve this with multiple ifs, if statements throughout the flow. So I think ServiceNow tried to kind of fill that gap where you don't want to fill up a massive flow or subflow, as it were, with a lot of switch or if statements. So I think that's where the dynamic flow for me fills that gap. Okay, so let's just quickly recap on what we've learned today. So ServiceNow has some documentation on dynamic flows, and it's a flow logic in Flow Designer. It works with get flow outputs. You need get flow outputs to determine what the output is of the dynamic flow. For me, it replaces things like multiple if statements. Could I achieve it with if statements? Yes, I could, because I could say if requested instance type is Jira, run this subflow. If it's Salesforce, run this subflow, and do multiple. So I'm guessing ServiceNow have implemented this to replace those long list of if statements that you might have in a flow. We've also learned that it may be painful for you at times to watch me go through this process and manually type out stuff all the way, in which case I'm going to try and do a hefty edit on this video to make it a bit more entertaining. So I hope you found this video useful. If you haven't yet subscribed, as I said before, 90% of you aren't, please consider subscribing. It does make all the difference to the channel. But until next time, I've been Russ, and this is Service Nerd.